Hi everyone, welcome to the channel, welcome back if you're coming again. My name's Alyssa, we do reading, we do writing, primarily writing, but sometimes reading. And it do be that time of the month. I'm a very big advocate for just talking about periods all the time because, I mean, people have them. To just cue you in, I work in an office with mainly men, and I just really appreciate making it known what's going on, because to expect me to go about my day as if all of this is not happening inside of me is... So I thought it would be good to chat about what I like to read during that time. Well, I'll say if you're on your period right now, I'm currently also. So we're in this together, you and me, it's fine, everything's fine. And for me, what I like to read during that special time is like books I've already read. So a lot of comfort reads. Like rom-coms, you pretty much know what's gonna happen, right? Like if it's a really cozy fantasy or if it's a romantasy that's really, really popular, so you already know who the main couple's gonna be, like those kind of books where you know what's gonna happen and you know what to expect. Because I think during this time, emotions can kind of be all over the place, and I don't want to be stressed. So things that I avoid are maybe books that have a lot of like political tension. I don't want to be so stressed. Like, so fantasies that are really heavy on politics, I'm like, goodbye, see you in a week. Or thrillers that just like really hit all the like some thrillers are like murder, like woohoo, like let's go to a murder mystery party and get kidnapped by a serial killer. Like sometimes it's fun, okay. But other times thrillers can get very like real world problem-y, which are great books, but not for this time. They also need to be easy to read. Like nothing too crazy, like don't try to play with me right now. Like I just want to read a book and I want it to be a book that I can read, right? So if that resonates with you, then these books that I've selected might be good. Some of them are very, like you're gonna be like, really Alyssa, like you're recommending me this book that everybody's already heard of? Yes, I am, okay? So I would say really any rom-com is fine if you're vibing with it. Sometimes the smut gets to be too much for me during that time because I'm like, I don't want to think about that right now. Like I just want to think about happiness and fluff. Katherine Center is the author I've been really loving recently. There's very, very minimal smut. Like I don't think there's any. And the plots are just like, I just feel so joyful. Like I just know that she's gonna do what I want her to do. And so the first one I read by her was The Bodyguard, which is about a female bodyguard protecting this actor, and they have to like go to his family farm and live there for a while, and she's his bodyguard, but they have to pretend that they're dating because he doesn't want his family to know that he has a stalker. Like it just, like why would you not want to read this while bleeding? Like is it just me? Okay. And that's the same with her newest release, Hello Stranger, which I actually just finished yesterday. It was my book of the month for July. So very new release, might even be an early release. But this one is about a portrait artist who has she has a brain surgery. It's kind of a weird way to start a rom-com. Gets facial blindness, so she can't recognize people. And I think you know where that's gonna go. And it's just lovely. It's just a lovely time. There's no smut. There's like minimal stress. Like they're stressed, but I'm not stressed. And that's what I think makes a good period rom-com. I also have just the classic Spanish love deception. Any time where there's like a sick or like, it's not necessarily that she's sick, but that sort of thing, like a sick comfort scene, like The Hating Game. I don't have that one with me, but The Hating Game also has a really good like sick comfort scene. I read that when I had a fever, highly recommend. But there's something I would say similar in this one. And this one's also just fun. Like I don't want something too serious. And then there's also Set on You. Because I think sometimes when it's that time, maybe we're bloating a little more. Maybe we're not feeling as confident about our beautiful bodies. Maybe we're just a little bit more conscious of that. And Set on You is a rom-com about a plus-size influencer, fitness influencer. And a firefighter. And I'm like, this is everything I needed it to be. Yes. And he's just such a man, like such a good man. Like this is what you want a man to be saying to you. And she's just very real if you're feeling a bit insecure. All right, so those are the rom-coms, but really any rom-com will do. Anything by Ali Hazelwood. I mean, that's all I have to say. Now let's get into the more embarrassing part Okay, listen. I don't necessarily think that Colleen Hoover, I don't have very strong opinions about Colleen Hoover, believe it or not. I'm not like, oh my gosh, she's the worst person that's ever been alive. Like, no one should read her, garbage. And I'm also not like, I would die for Colleen Hoover. Like, I read them and I'm like, yeah. The only thing that makes me a little annoyed is that when people who are not readers pick up a book, it's usually a Colleen Hoover book. And I'm like, great, love that you're reading, love that for you. There are so many other books out there, and I feel like some people who have never read anything before or don't read regularly will just read like 4 Colleen Hoover books and call that good. And I'm like, there's just so much more out there. But you know what? I do read her. I think she's really good at hooking you in. I think she's really good at getting you through. And that's kind of what I'm looking for during this time. My favorite of hers, I read this while sick, was Confess. Actually, this is not my favorite. What am I even saying? It's a little bit more thrillery, a little bit. And it had just a lot of drama. Like, the drama was high in this one, and it was pretty short. It's under 300 pages. It just feels like a book you should read when you're on your period. This one, I don't know if I would really recommend if you are struggling with like anything hormonal, I would say, or with like infertility, really anything like that. This might be a little bit sensitive. So I don't know if I necessarily pick it up, but All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover deals a lot with infertility. I don't know why this feels like a good book to read on your period, because I think it just discusses a lot about our hormones and our relationship with our fertility and like feeling this identity with our fertility and just like the struggle of the cyclical nature of our bodies, you know? Like when you're kind of hyper aware of that during the period. And so I thought it would be kind of good, like if you want to just feel more of that. So maybe don't read this on your period is what I'm trying to say, but All Your Perfects. And then similar, it's not a Colleen Hoover book, but it is. It's not written by her, but it could be. Is Archer's Voice, which is it just drama, the tension, the romance. There's a lot of smut in this. It's about a girl and she has a dark past and she moves to a little small town. She lives in a little cabin in the woods. She's got a cute grandmother next to her, not her grandmother, who bakes her pies. And she meets this guy who's been living in the woods and nobody talks to him and he doesn't talk and he can't talk. But she speaks sign language and they just really, and the romance and the drama and sometimes when I'm on my period, I just feel a lot. Like I'll think about the end of Empire of Storms and I'll be like, oh, let me just think about that for 20 minutes and cry. Like, and this is just a good book to just like really feel all the feelings. Moving into the fantasy, I like to keep it light. So romantasies where I know exactly who's gonna end up together. 1,000 Heartbeats by Kiera Cass is a good one. I'd say I was gonna bring out the selection, but I think I just read that on my period because it's a comfort book for me. That series, I've read it, I think more time. Like I think I could quote it. I think I could. And you feel things and she executes it so well, it doesn't feel like it's fake. It just, but there's still peril, but it's not too stressful. Like it's just the right amount of peril. Okay, and listen, I know that it's overhyped, okay? The Daughter of the Pirate King duology, I'd say anything by Tricia Levenseller because I really do like Tricia Levenseller. The Shadows Between Us, I don't want to talk about that book, but everything else that she's written really just hits it because it's a good page count. Like it's not crazy. It's like 300 pages. They're really well conceptually designed. The romance is easy, but there's tension, there's banter, but it doesn't go too crazy. It doesn't go like, we don't need to have and there's no smut. And Adrienne Young, I would say. So really anything by Adrienne Young or Tricia Levenseller. The duology I would really recommend is Master of Iron. What is it called? Blade of Secrets and Master of Iron. But that one has really good representation from what I've seen of somebody with like really extreme social anxiety. And that book just it was so comforting. So yeah, anything by my girl Trisha. I also have The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Again, I don't need to repeat myself. Fun, romance, fantasy, witches. Like there's 3 young witches living together, like little girl witches, but witches aren't supposed to be in groups. And so this older witch, not older, she's just like a normal woman witch, and she like goes and lives with them, and then there's like a cute guy, and then just romance and witches. Like we're not gonna be shocked. Okay, I guess right now, drop your guesses in the comments down below who I'm gonna recommend you next. It's Lynette. I just love the Prison Healer trilogy, and I know that people have qualms with her writing, but I don't care. I'm currently on my period and I have been rereading this series like there's no tomorrow. Prison Healer trilogy, I don't even think I've talked about this book series. It's, I think, it was my top read of the year last year. It's well written. It's well written, but it's not like the literary people probably won't like it, but I do, okay? It is a romantasy. It's just great. It's about this girl, and she is, shocking, she's lived in this prison her whole life. Since she was about 7, she's like the doctor, but she's also a prisoner. Like she's a healer at the prison, you know? And then one day a handsome young guy shows up, but it's very like it's like a death prison. Like you go there and you never leave, and there's no like parole, like you're just in prison forever, and there's all these different jobs, and it just sucks all the time. And so this new guy comes, and he's just really hopeful and like fun, and like, you know, is just, you know, and she's like, why are you so happy? Like, we're in prison. He's like, listen, like, gotta, you know. But it's, ooh, I love it. It's so good. She just does everything I wanted her to do, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. Okay, and then I also have, you're gonna just roll your eyes. I don't even care. Dance of Thieves, Vow of Thieves. I would read, there's a trilogy that goes before it in the same world that kind of sets it up. I would read that first, but these two, specifically this, she did it. I don't even know how to explain this book. Dual POV girl who's like an assassin for the royal family, and this guy who's like in a high up family who is kind of not like rebels, but they're like kind of opposed to that. They're not like with the royal family, like they have their own like family empire, whatever. Him and her both get taken by like a prison wagon and are chained together on the ankle. And they escape the prison wagon, but they have to like travel together with their ankles chained together. And this book, I can't even tell you what happens in this book. When I'm on my period, I just need to be comforted by this man, and he just really does it for me. Dance of Thieves, Vow of Thieves. Boom! So the thriller that I would recommend would be The Cellar. Listen, I know it started on Wattpad. I know our girl Natasha, I know it's old, but it's a YA thriller, and it just like 2014, good. But the romance is really sweet. It's a feel-good thriller. I don't know. It's about a girl, she's like a teenager, and she gets abducted by this guy, and he has 3 other girls in his basement, and he's like, you're my family now, I'm gonna name you after flowers. And then they like live down there for a while, but then her boyfriend is also looking for her. Lewis really did it. So a feel-good thriller about being in a serial killer's basement. I don't know. And then I have The Girl Who Could Move Shit With Her Mind. I did tape over this with stuff because I was living with my parents at the time, and they were like, I don't want to see the word shit. Because I felt embarrassed. I was reading it in public and it said shit, so I just like replaced it with tape. But this is a 4-book series. I haven't really seen anybody else talking about it, but it's essentially this girl has telekinetic powers in the real, just like the normal real world. And then there is a crime that's committed that looks like it could only be committed by somebody who has telekinetic powers. And she's like, girl, that wasn't me. But then she like becomes part of this like government, like a ragtag group of government bandits, and they do it's really vulgar. There's a shoot ton of swearing in it. But it's just kind of fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, so I would implore you to not take it seriously either. But it has a lot of thrill, and it has a lot of like, it just has a little bit of romance, but it's just very fun. And the action sequences are very long and fun. And so if you're looking for that kind of thing to like really immerse you, I would say The Girl Who Can Move Shit With Her Mind. The first 4 books are out. I gotta see when the 5th book is coming out because they did leave me on a cliffhanger. Anyway, the last book I'll recommend is if you're someone who's on your period and you're really emotional and you really just want to lean into the emotions and cry a lot. Sometimes I feel like that, where I'm like, I'm emotionally prone now, like I just want to cry a bunch. Read this number and you'll cry. You will. As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow, it is about the conflict in Syria. It's magical realism. It's profoundly beautiful and so sad and hopeful and beautiful, and read it. Like I really did cry, and I don't often cry. Well, so yeah, that's what I would recommend to you on your period, or just like watch some reality TV, like pull up Say Yes to the Dress, pull up Project Runway, give me a little bit of Survivor, all those. I hope you are feeling good right now. Go take some, meds, get that heating pad out, go on a walk, eat a Mediterranean diet. I used to eat like 9 oranges because I used to take like really long bus trips for speech in high school. And so I would eat like 17 oranges over a course of a weekend. Very bad for you, but didn't get cramps. Mostly because my body was probably like having a reaction to so many oranges being in it. So don't actually do that. But that's all I have to say. So I will see you in the next one. Bye.